So yesterday's episode was fantastic. We got off to a winning start in the league and qualified for the group stage of the Copa Sudamericana by beating another Peruvian team in the qualifying rounds. We also signed a wonderkid in Uriel Celli, which I am very excited about. And I think, in between episodes, we might have signed another one. Let's go check him out. So hello and welcome back to Vamos to the Top. Hope you're all doing well and looking forward to today's episode where we welcome our new signing to the team, Matias Carpio. He is a 19-year-old attacking midfielder signed for quite a hefty £200,000 from Cienciano. I think it's about £80,000 up front, 120 down the line. It's a big deal, but he was the best player, according to our scouts, in the Peru under-20 team with the best potential ability as well. So if we can get the best out of him, I think we're on to a fantastic signing here. Got some great attributes in his crossing and dribbling, passing of 15, technique of 15, off the ball 12, decisions 14. It's really good. We just need to get his physicals up a little bit. I've got him working on his pace already, 10, a little bit too low. But all of a sudden, in the space of a couple episodes, we've gone from our wings being not the strongest areas and areas that we did want to strengthen. We couldn't quite strengthen them in the transfer special because we didn't have the budget to hand at that point. But we're now at the point where we had a much bigger budget thanks to dropping off some of those bonuses, and we've been able to sign some great signings on the wings. Now, currently he is a left winger in his most green position, natural left winger as an inverted winger, but we are going to be training him on the right hand side as a winger instead, just because we want to play Celli on the other side. Now, he is in direct competition with Jean-Paul Sandoval, who was our best player in terms of average ratings last season, but as you can see, is much better in every single area other than speed. Of course, last season Sandoval was our best player in terms of average ratings, so it would be daft to just drop him completely, but you've got to say that the new signing is head and shoulders better. And of course, this is before we even start talking about the youngsters that came through our youth intake last season. Of course, they're not quite up to it just yet, but in a couple seasons' time, these guys such as Trembor and the other guy who is James, they are going to be competing with Matias, and hopefully we're going to have a really stacked right-hand side of the pitch. In terms of formation, I'm still pretty happy with our asymmetrical 4-4-2 right now. I think it does work quite nicely. But I have copied this formation, so everything about this formation, but changed a few player roles to create a 4-2-3-1, which I've not tested or tried yet. We might try it in today's episode. But essentially, we have some more dedicated attackers on the wing with Celli, and then I suppose in this situation, we bring Carpio onto the pitch. And then Tuesta and Moyano will become slightly more defensively minded midfielders, which hopefully might just stop the backline being so vulnerable. But as I say, I've not tested it yet, and I want to do well in our first game today in the Copa Sudamericana. Speaking of games, we have played 2 games off camera. One was a friendly because we had a big 2-week break in between these 2 games, so I wanted to make sure our players got a little bit of game time. We took on Alianza Universidad and drew 1-1 before taking them on in the league and winning 2-1. We dominated proceedings in this game, thoroughly deserved the win, and Celli got his first goal for the club as well, which is a great start for him. And then, as I say, Copa Sudamericana football is coming up. Mushuk, we're taking these guys on first. They are from Ecuador, so this could be an interesting game for us to play. Their facilities are much worse than ours, and their reputation is fairly similar, so not really sure how good they are, but I'd like to think we can win this one. We'll then take on UTC in the league, where we are doing pretty well. We've had 2 games in it so far, and won 2 of them. And if we win the third one, we will go top of the group, which would be absolutely fantastic and a big turnaround. The 6 points we've got already is more than we got last season, so I'm already happy with that. And then the third game we'll play today is against Hermanos, who are from Venezuela, not Colombia. Like I said yesterday, I got confused with the flags. So heading into this first game, the team is pretty much unchanged from yesterday's episode. Celli cementing himself on that left-hand side. Of course, it's a little bit upsetting for Daniel Morales, who of course we brought in. I still rate him highly, still think he's great, and they are both going to be used a lot this season down the left-hand side as we interchange things a little bit. Sandoval holding on to his right-wing position for now, but we'll see how things change. He's kind of blessed that he is a natural on the right midfield, whereas Carpio is not quite a natural in that position, but I'm sure he'll be able to play that role anyway quite comfortably, so we'll see how that one goes. Oliver still coming back from an injury, so Gonzalez Vigil is still playing as the deep lying forward, but other than that, I think you're pretty used to the team. So let's not play because Espinosa's on the bench and injured, so we'll get Gamara on instead, press submit, and go to the game. So a big away trip this one. We've travelled all the way to Ecuador for this one, and I really have no idea how good this team is. Like, I would not be able to give you any sort of idea if they are the greatest team in Ecuador or like just a joke. I really don't know. I mean, they must be pretty good to be in the group stage of the Copa Sudamericana, so I guess we can't discount them that much. But I'd like to think that we're going to give them a run for their money today as Veron Gonzalez Vigil gets the goal in the end. I thought that was going to be absolutely messed up there, but I think the keeper and Veron just coming together a little bit. The ball fell very kindly for Gonzalez Vigil, and we go 1-0 up at the start of this game, which is absolutely fantastic. It's a great ball in from Chelly, and yeah, the keeper and Veron just get there at the same time, but it falls kindly to Vigil. It's a goal. So maybe this answers our question already, as the free kick is cleared, but only as far as new boy Chelly, who collects the ball on the left-hand side and makes his way down the wing, beating his man comfortably. What a superb ball that was to Gonzalez Vigil, who's unlucky not to put that one in the back of the net, cannoning back off the crossbar. But maybe we're answering our question right now. This team don't appear to be the greatest, at least in the first 25 minutes or so. If we can grab a second goal here, this would be absolutely wonderful for us, as Veron holds the ball up, then gets it back. Keeper this time, though, is wise to it and manages to collect the ball ahead of Veron. He hoofs it clear, though, and it's actually won up top by Mushuk, who get the ball out wide to Delgado into the middle, and that's a really nice goal. Okay, should not have said maybe they're not that good, because they scored immediately. I've really jinxed it now. I really think I've jinxed it, particularly with that ball over the top. And they were not far off. I think the fact that I recognised my jinx, then unjinxed it, at least temporarily. And so, although we dominated the first 20 minutes or so, we've not actually had a single shot since about the 25th minute or something like that, as Veron is now put through, takes another shot, saved by the keeper this time, but that's only our fourth shot of the game. So half-time 1-1, and actually they've had more shots than us at the end of that first half, which is surprising given the way that it started. I'm going to say I'm far from pleased from this team, but this is opening up the idea that we could switch to the 4-2-3-1 for, I don't know, the last 30 minutes of this game, just see how it works out, a slight tweak. But this is the Copa Sudamericana, Tom. We can't mess this up. You know, if we want to qualify from our group, this is the sort of game we have to win. We have to stick to the tried and tested method. But we are going to stick to the tried and tested method as we go 2-1 down. That's annoying. As I was saying, we are sticking with the tried and tested method because it's the same tactical instructions, just a different shape and slightly different positions. And I think it might be worth it, you know. I think it might be worth it as we switch it up. Right, Sandoval is going to come off then for Carpio. We'll leave Gonzalez Vigil on because he had a good game. Veron's not played particularly well, but can actually play in the attacking midfield nicely. So is that the only change I want to make? No, Moyano's going to come off for Gabriel Delgado. We'll make that change as well and confirm it. And we might go a little bit more attacking as we've just given away a penalty. As I click confirm. Oh no. Well, our backs are against the walls now for this final 30 minutes. Hopefully this tweak and change will maybe fix things for us a little bit as Ampuero gets the ball out wide into Delgado, into Chelly. His ball to Veron, not quite good enough. We do win it at the back though as Gonzalez plays it into Delgado, into Veron. Veron with a through ball to Chelly, not good enough. Cleared out from the back, but won at our back as Gonzalez collects that one nicely into Cordoba down the right hand side of the pitch this time and down to Carpio, the first time you've seen him on the ball, dribbles past one into the area, shoots, good save from the keeper. If he'd scored then, that would have been the perfect introduction. I think maybe another change is maybe needed at the back potentially. Gonzalez on a yellow card and a poor rating. Let's bring Rocha on for him at centre back and see if he can just see this game out. I'll shout demand more again. I'll go very attacking. We've certainly created a fair few chances, I think, with this switched up formation. But we've not been able to see it out. And I don't think we deserve a 3-1 loss out of this. I don't think we deserve it, but it's what we've been given. It's what we've been given. And it's a bit of a shock to the system, I think. A bit of a shock. Okay. So, we've got another league game in a few days' time. We're going to go training, rest for a day, and I think we will start with the 4-2-3-1. We'll see how it goes. But I feel really annoyed that we haven't made the most of that game. We really should have got something out of it, I feel, based on the match stats alone at least. But the next game's come round very quickly. UTC up next, and despite resting a few players, there are a few tired faces out there. So, what we'll do is we'll leave Veron and Gonzalez Vigil playing, but Chelly's quite tired. We'll bring him off for Morelos. Carpio will come on the right-hand side. Tuesta will come off for Gabriel Delgado. And Cordova will come off for the other Gonzalez. So Jay Gonzalez and Alejandro Gonzalez. Who's Jay? What's his actual name? Jay Gonzalez, Jonathan Gonzalez and Alejandro Gonzalez playing with each other. Okay. There are a couple more tired faces in the team, but I think that's as much as I want to do change-wise. Let's get this going. So obviously we've not changed any tactical instructions, and I think the change in shape and roles might need a tweak in tactical instructions, I think. Just because it's not going to be quite as well optimised, but I'm not entirely sure what to change at the moment, and maybe we don't need to change anything as Daniel Morelos gets his 3rd of the season already. Yes, Chelly's got the wonder kid factor, but Morelos has got the goal scoring factor. 3 already is not a bad return for the left side midfielder that we brought in first this summer. He's got number 11 and he intends to keep it. When he does play, he plays well. He's consistently good. And as much as we want to play Chelly, we've got to think results based, and we've got to think that maybe Morelos is the better man to play right now. He's getting better match performances at the moment. Carpio, on his first actual start for the club, gets the ball out wide. Has made substitute appearances, but this is his first actual start for us, which is quite exciting. Holds on the possession nicely and does work it back into the midfield, where Veron's playing very deep into Vigil there on the edge of the area, who scores an incredible goal. Gonzalez Vigil, who's got 3 finishing for a striker, which is not great, pulled off one of the finishes of the season. Beautiful effort this, and it deserves being watched again. Goal from the edge of the area, just curled round the keeper, in off the post. Well, this shape is now giving me a lot of confidence, and I think the new signings that we've made are having an instant impact, particularly Morelos. I think Chelly is settling into the team a little bit. Carpio on a 6.7 right now, the lowest rating in the team, which is not quite ideal for us. But, of course, it's his first start for the team. He's still developing, and it's not actually his favoured side. He prefers to be on the left-hand side to cut inside and things like that, as Gonzalez Vigil shows why he's got terrible finishing by missing at point-blank range. Carpio on the ball right now, once again beating his man for pace, surprisingly, but beats him off the dribble as well. Obviously, he's got very good dribbling and things like that, but pace is rubbish, but did manage to beat his man for pace there, which is a little bit weird. He should not be doing that with 10 pace, but if he can, great. As we train him up to have more pace, even better, and hopefully he'll get to I'd like to think he can get to sort of 15 pace. He's only 19 years old, he's still very young, physicals will develop. We're training him to actually run quicker. We're doing quickness training with him. So I'd like to think he could get to 14, 15 pace at some point. And if he could, he would be deadly. It's that situation, though, where his 10 pace lets him down. Like the left back was all over him for pace there. No chance he was ever going to get that. And because of it, they've scored a goal. And you could also say it was a pretty poor pass towards Carpio in the first place. But you could also make the assumption that his pace there let the team down. But I've just spent a lot of money on him, and he's a young wonder kid in my opinion. So, of course, it was not his fault at all. It was a terrible pass. I don't know who it was that passed it to him. Good job I can't remember. Otherwise, they'd had their contract terminated right now. But, I mean, most of our defenders are probably doing quite a good job of getting their contracts terminated. We just let them run through us, and luckily we do manage to clear our lines, but only as far as the halfway line, as UTC look to come back towards us once again. And they found Lopez, and they're just breaking through. They just seem to create all of these chances somehow, and our defenders just don't stick with them. I think both games we've seen today, they've been a tale of two halves in the first half. The first half of the first half in both games, we've been phenomenal. The second half of the first half, we've capitulated, and I'm not happy. Going to shout encourage to try and get some smiley faces into these players, and it seems to be working a little bit. Carpio is just not quite performing today. I guess on his first start, is a little bit overwhelmed, 6.4 rating. We'll bring him off for Sandoval. Also at the back, Marcos Delgado, poor rating. Let's bring Rocha on at the back for him as well. Can Gonzalez play reasonably with his left foot? We'll swap those two over then. Oliver coming back from injury. I think we bring him on for Gonzalez Veron, who's on a low rating, but we'll make him a... Let's go on attack. Attacking midfielder on attack instead, and see if that just changes things a little bit for us. But there's not long left to go in this game at all. I'll encourage them again, because encourage does work apparently when you're drawing. We've got 15 minutes to go. We've got some fresh faces on the pitch. Like, this is primed for us to get a result out of this game. But of course, we can't quite rely on this back line that do like to get dragged apart a little bit, and they leave gaps, and they're not very good in the air. Luckily that time we do win it in the air, which is great. But on the edge of the penalty area, UTC still have the ball, and they have put it in the back of the net. Right. 2-0 up. Down to 3-2. VAR's not going to save us here. It was definitely onside. There we go. We've got to do something about the back line. We've got to do something about it. They're not bad players. I know they're not bad players. But we are conceding so many goals. So many goals. Again, it's another. We've not kept a clean sheet yet, have we? We conceded 3, didn't we, against Vallejo in the first leg. And then 2 in the second leg. That's 5. 4 in this game. That's 9. 3 in the previous game, that's 12. And then there's 2 more games that I can't remember the scorelines in that we conceded goals in as well. So, I mean, it's poor. I mean, maybe an obvious fix for this formation is that Delgado becomes or whoever plays in this position becomes a ball winner instead. But no one really likes being a ball winner. Particularly Tuesta, who we normally play in that sort of role. It's his worst sort of area, right? So maybe just send some mid on support instead? Or deep lying on defend. Maybe deep lying on defend, because I do like having a playmaker in this sort of system, I feel. We'll also get the better players back on the pitch. This, of course, means Cordova comes back on, although Alejandro Gonzalez is suspended, so Rocha on you come. Delgado and Puero, that's fine. Tuesta and Moyano, yes, we'll leave there because Gabriel Delgado is tired. We'll leave Carpio on the right-hand side. I might put Veron up top and bring Oliver now on in the attacking midfielder role, and then we'll bring Chelly on the left-hand side as well. I want to start with this, but I think we might end up switching back to the 4-4-2. So we need to make sure we get a win in this game, not just for the sake of the episode, because obviously it'd be nice to get a win on an episode, but only one team qualifies from every single group in the Copa Sudamericana. You've got to win the group to qualify, and the fact that we've lost our first game already is quite poor. In fact, if I can get the league table up, we can have a look at it in a second, can't we? As the corner is put into the middle from Hermanos, but we have cleared it. Zapata gets the ball back out wide though, and they have got a chance to swing it in the middle. Luckily, we stopped them from doing that, and we are forcing them back to the halfway line, which is great to see. We do need to win the ball off them though. We can't just let them attack us, and if that's kept in, which it is, that's a great ball, and luckily we've dealt with it. Otherwise that could have been a really serious issue for us, and it still might be, because they are still coming at us. We cannot hold on to the ball. Swung to the far post, and it is a goal in the end. We have a chance to instantly reply though, as the ball is worked down this right hand side of the pitch. Tuesta crosses it towards Chelly, who wins it down to Veron, into Oliver, who does slot it into the bottom left corner. You love to see it. That is a superb goal. Beautiful stuff. And that is exactly what we need to get back into this game. If we get the league table up, you can see our league table is up right here. Obviously, we lost the last game, so they're on 4 points. They're currently drawing with America FC. Hopefully they carry on drawing, because, you know, even 15 points, if we won this game and all the other games, 15 points still might not be enough. Every game counts. Every game counts in the Copa Sudamericana, and we have to get a result here. And with Chelly not winning the ball there, that's a bit frustrating. It has been cleared, but we seem to be in the ascendancy right now. The highlights are now turning to our favour, and we seem to be presenting a little bit more pressure as we go forward. Cordova into Carpio, into Oliver. Oliver back to Tuesta. Come on, lads, we can do this. Let's get ourselves a little bit further forward. That's a great ball to Veron, and Veron slots that into the bottom corner. 6th of the season for him already. He loves this competition, scoring 5 of his goals in the Copa Sudamericana so far, which is fantastic. But a great ball here from Carpio to get an assist and Veron to score. We're up in this game 2-1 now. So we've taken the lead in this game, which is good. It's exactly what we need. We need some momentum going in the Copa Sudamericana if we want to qualify. But that's going to be very, very difficult with a team from Brazil in our group. I think I've just seen a notification saying they've taken the lead, America FC, whatever they're called, in the game against Mushuk, which is good for us because it means Mushuk are going to be level on points with us. But it does suggest that Mushuk, who are better than us and beat us, are not as good as America FC, who might go on to absolutely spank us. So that'll be an interesting scenario for when we play against them, as that's nearly a great goal from Hermanos. Yeah, they're 1-0 up right now. America Mineiro 1-0 up against Mushuk. That's something we need to keep an eye on, as you hate to see it. The keeper, Solis, not reaching that one. It loops over him. And that's a really silly goal to concede from a corner. And like I say, particularly with America winning this game, we have to win this game. Have to win this game as Marcos Delgado puts us in front again. Now, Chelly not playing brilliantly today. We're going to bring Morelos on for him instead. And Puera not playing brilliantly. Let's bring Ruhan on for him on the left-hand side. And they're the 2 changes that we'll make right now with 20 minutes or so to go. We're going to praise the team for winning right now as Oliver puts a ball into the middle, cleared by the first man. But Delgado can get there, win it, and play it into Oliver. He's now got a ton of space to find Moyano, who goes back to Ruan instead. So play slowed down a little bit for us as Oliver picks it up, cuts back to Moyano, back into Oliver, who can now put it into the path of Veron, who shoots from distance over the bar, but not far off. 15 minutes to hold on, and if Mushuk could just get an equaliser against America, this would be superb for us, because that would really just bring them back towards us. They'd both be on 4 points, but only 1 point ahead. It would give us a great advantage if we had to try and overtake them in this group to try and win it. As long as America win, though, they're in the driving seat of this group, and it's what's happening right now. But Tuesta finds Carpio. He's had a great game here today. I think his best he's had so far, the best we've seen him in this episode. As Veron, oh my goodness gracious me, loves the Copa Sudamericana, makes it 4-2, and I think that should be the 3 points from the 4 goals here today sealed. Let's watch this one again, as it is a really, really, really good shot from Veron. Tuesta with a great pass from deep. And so we'll take that. Less shots in the game, but we've won 4-2, and I think that really does highlight that maybe Tuesta dropping back a little bit has helped us out defensively. Like, yes, they had more shots, but they weren't very good quality shots. And so the state of affairs is this right now. We are 3rd in our Copa Sudamericana group. It's going to be very, very difficult to get ourselves on top of that pile. In our league original group, or first phase group, whatever you want to call it, we're 4th right now, which is not a bad place to be, particularly with a game in hand, which if we win, we'd go top. So although we've not had the greatest of results in today's episode, I do think we are looking quite nice right now. Obviously, given how important it seems to be, I think we have to do both games against America in the next episode, because that will determine if we are going to qualify from this group or not. Win them both, in for a great chance. Lose them both, we're not qualifying. So thank you so much for watching today's episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed it. And of course, if you have done, make sure you do drop a like on the video for me. Subscribe if you're new around here, and leave a comment down below for the YouTube algorithm. Until next time, have a good one. Goodbye.